What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mystick's MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. Alright, so, as promised, I'm going to deliver my new Stamina Sorc PvP build, Septic Shock. Oh, it's gross. It's just nasty. I need to get better at playing Stam PvP, but the build here is pretty gross. So let's go ahead and get into the character sheet here. Alright. Max Magicka 15-2. Max Health 24. Max Stam 22. Magic Recovery 13. Stam Recovery 15. Health Recovery 275. Spell Damage before buff 3-7. Weapon Damage 5-6. Spell Pen's only 700. Physical Pen's 4007. Our resistance is 13-7. 2-8 before our Hurricane. Very important. We diverted everything into max Stam. We are using Jewels of Misrule. The reason being we want that max health and we want the recovery. We're using the Warrior Mundus because of the sets. Now, if you wanted to use the Lover for penetration, you can do that. But note that you're going to be losing out on the procs on the sets. So optional, but very important to remember. Okay, sets. Master Bow. Perfected, but you don't need the perfected. You can just do regular Dragon Star Arena, get the Master Bow. This is Glyph Poison, Nirnhone. The reason I want the Nirnhone is because my Vigor is on the back bar, and same thing with my self-sustaining heal. So Nirnhone gives me a damaging effect, plus we'll keep the proc up if I do a bar swap, so I don't lose too much. Also, like I said, it just, you could put Sharpen, but you'll lose a little bit on the heals. So, I like the Nirnhone. Alright. What's the bow do? Adds weapon damage, increases your weapon damage against damage by 330 against targets affected by your poison arrow, which is poison injector. Alright. Very important weapon here. Now, you could go with the VAT 2H. I'd much rather use this because of the bleed, because I'm using Crit Rush. It's glyphed with Oblivion damage. Nirnhone once again. It's going to also give us an extra penetration value for Perfected. So if you're capable of doing, Vet Maelstrom, I would recommend this, but do you need it? No, you would just lose some on the pen. Okay. So, very important. Pestilence set. You can get this in Vat Train Hollows Arena. So, what's the set do? It gives us penetration, gives us stamina, gives us weapon damage, and it gives us additional penetration. The fifth piece is the most important. Whenever you kill an enemy affected with a poison effect, their corpse releases a withering mass of Fletcher flies, which seeks out the nearest enemy within 12 meters, causing them to bleed for 35,760 damage over 10 seconds. Now, when I activate my buff, this goes up to 41,000. And my bleed is 9,060 over 5 seconds. And bleeds ignore penetration. Pretty good. The helm is reinforced because we're all medium. This is all medium build with max health. Jack of Pestilence reinforced, max Magicka. Venomous is our secondary set. This is max Magicka well fitted. What's this do? Adds critical, adds weapon damage. Dealing critical damage inflicts Hunter's Venom on your enemy for 10 seconds, dealing 3,638. But once again, when we buff up, now it's at 4,220. And has an AoE effect. So once you kill them, you use Crit Rush, it's an automatic application. Okay, I imagine a bunch of people have already done it, but I paired it with the Pestilence and the Maelstrom 2H. sword. Make sure it's a sword. We want that weapon damage scale, because when you do that, we push over the 6,500. Okay. This is well fitted. Max Magicka. Pestilence. Belt reinforced Max Magicka. This should be Nirnholm, not reinforced. This is the last piece I need to transmute. Venomous Bracers, Nirnholm. I have no impen. None. Zero. Impen scrap. It's garbage. You might as well stack hard resistance. Alright? I'm slightly under the 20k mark. I'll get 100 something. It'll almost be 19.7. So you want some resistance, especially since we're an all medium. Now my race is Orc. Very important that I utilize the Orc passives. I'll get back into this, but Orc is ideal race for this. Why? Because we get weapon and spell damage. Add that with the Sork's passive into Storm Calling. We get 2% for each Sork ability slotted. So that scales weapon and spell damage. Okay. Very important. That's why I went Orc. Venomous Guards, reinforced, Max Magicka. Venomous Boots, well fitted, Max Magicka. Amulet of Pestilence. I need to upgrade this, but it's 247 weapon damage infused. If you gold this out, you'll get more, by the way. Infused weapon damage, Ring of Pestilence. Venomous Ring, infused, Magicka recovery. Now, very important that we want that Magicka recovery because we're using spells on this. And not only that, it helps, congratulations, with the Dark Deal. So we can actually sustain a lot better with the Dark Deal. Getting into the skills, first combo, Critical Surge. When we crit, we heal. Plus, once again, Expert Mage. The more mage abilities we have slotted, the more it scales our weapon and spell damage. Poison Injector, procs the Master Bow, and on top of it, it adds a poison effect. So if they die with the poison effect, Pestilence procs. Dark Deal for our sustain. Resolving Vigor. Hurricane, very important here. Also gives us our major resolve and minor expedition. We're going to have the Summon Atronach for a CC. If you want to use the Dark Magic negate, you can do that. That's an option. Crit Rush, the bread and butter to proc our Venomous. Crystal Weapon. This is definitely going to help too because it also reduces the target's armor by an additional 1,000 for 5 seconds. So it's a hit and run build. We go in, we proc this up, we crit rush, we streak out, and boom. But you want to set your poison first, and then yes, we're going to use Haunting Curse. Even though we don't have a lot of spell pen, all of these effects are going to fire at one time. Once we crit rush, we streak out. Hunting Curse will pop. The bleed effects will hit for at least one tick. All of that procs with the 2H and the Venomous. All of a sudden, when this blows, this goes off. They can't cleanse it in time. We turn around, we Endless Fury them. Very important that we're using Endless Fury as our finisher because it gets a ranged ability. We don't have to be up in the middle of combat. Thus, we finish them, and we also restore Magicka as we killed them. And then, of course, our Dawnbreaker of Smiting, because that's going to give us our scale factor into the Fighters Guild of an additional 3%. Very, 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 very gross build here. Now, I don't play Stam Tunes the best. I'm still learning, but this build lives up to its name. Now, as far as pots go, I recommend using tripods to help sustain. Between time, it really comes in handy since you're juggling mag and stamina. So, yeah, tripods. Definitely all the way. Make sure you have, your detect pots too for little pesky night blades. They seem to be flooding everywhere. You can use this in Cyrodiil. and in Battlegrounds. Works out great. Now, if you are a member, I will be tomorrow uploading the CP configuration for this build. If you're not a member, you might want to consider it, just because there's always one or two little details that I put in there for my members. But as always, I want to thank you guys for your continued support. Enjoy this septic shock, because I guarantee you those who get hit by it are definitely going to feel it. As always, I'm Mistick Raven. This is Mistick's MMOs. Have a nice day.